Hi everybody, Jackie Fernandez here. So in this video, I thought I'd do a look ahead of the year 2022 using not tarot cards, but oracle cards. And who knows, let's see what unfolds with the oracle cards. But oracle cards are going to give us a general energy reading for each month out of the year. So I'm going to pull 12 cards out of the deck, and one card will represent for each month, and we'll see where we'll go. So the first card, oh, I love it. The first card that came out of the deck for January 2022 is Earth Magic. So if anyone hasn't caught the memo yet, we are going under extreme energetic change. The Earth is going, her grid is resetting. Everyone was, pulled inside in 2020 to kind of go back and reflect and renew and rejuvenate and understand what is really important to us now, what resources that we need in order to move forward. And this is indicating the new beginnings are starting and they're ahead. So right as we kick off the year in January, new energies, the Earth is, in her grid, and new energy alignment is happening. And ironically, the number on the card is 1. So as we start off January, that's the first card that has come out of the deck. What's the card for February 2022, please? What's the energy card that we need for 2022 February? Oh, here we go. I came in our January reading. We had this as an overall energy card for the month, and obviously it continues as we go into February. So bearing fruit is the emergence of a new way of acting, being, doing, thinking. We're going to start to see the continuation of the changes that we've experienced over the last 1.5 to 2 years due to the global pandemic and how our lives have had to change in so many ways. That's going to continue since this last fall. Many, places were expecting to return back to some kind of normal of the way life used to be. I think it's getting pretty clear that that's not going to happen. So we have to continue to bear fruit in order to establish those structures and communities and infrastructures and frameworks in which we're going to operate and feel comfortable and safe and secure as we navigate a new way. What is the card for March 2022, please? Overall energy card for March. Beautiful. Birds of a feather. We are starting to rebuild. We're starting to find our new communities. Some of us, I think, myself included, went through a huge shedding, if you will, in a few areas of life, not only physically and emotionally, but also when it came to friends and families and connections and relationships that might have been long-standing in my life. Just realized sometimes things weren't just serving me. Sometimes it was just a toxic relationship that did not need to occur. And I finally decided, when you're faced with so much time to examine such things, it was just toxic and not necessary. So I did a lot of restructuring, if you will, and understanding within myself how much energy I did give to people that didn't deserve it and weren't worthy, and how much I neglected myself in some areas, and how much people actually did reciprocate. And I've learned a lot about exchanging and modifying the amount of energy that I'm going to give in some of those areas. So I came out for April is Great Big Love. So I think now, after we've been in this situation for 2 years, a lot of people are starting to realize it takes a village to raise the world, basically, and less division. The only way to move forward and gain this type of structures that we need and feel the kind of safety and security that we all desire is understanding there is not division among us. There is unity in every one of us, and we need to start leading more in love. So gone are the days where one person wins and it's the money grab and greed around that. Gone. It's now about what is best for me is best for communities and all. That is what's going to bring us forward and to continue to sustain as this new Earth emerges. And the number on the card is 26, which reduces down to the number 8, which actually is the number of transformation in numerology. And those first 4 cards actually line up to the first 4 months of the year. So that brings us into April, great big love. May, May, we have the uncharted sea. This is where I believe, again, if you didn't see my January 2022 reading, go back and take a look at that, because I talk about we're going to see some major rapid changes happening in major institutions, organizations, structures, frameworks that we've been operating on as a society, as a world society, as world citizens. I believe we're going to see major changes and transformations, dismantling to rebirth in that space. And I believe that's going to happen all the way up till spring, where we're going to start to see the acceptance of those changes and the emergence of new uncertainty, because it's going to be uncharted sea. So how do we navigate in, a fluid environment that is not fully formed yet? How do we actually obtain the safety and stability and the confidence within ourselves in knowing that we can navigate these new waters to build those new structures? And that is our card for May. The number on that card is 46, which is a 10 that reduces down to a 1, and 1 in the tarot is new beginnings. The next card is June 2022, please. What's the card for June 2022? What's the energy card for June 2022? Card is sticky. There's so many. Oh, I think this one wants. Oh, how do we want to receive the bottom? The card that came out for June 2022 is Quieting the Mind, which is actually probably really good and perfect timing, because a lot of us, well, where I am anyway in the United States, we will be entering summer seasons. June, it will start to kick off warmer months and across the United States, and people start to begin to relax, vacation, unwind a little bit more. And so what it's actually speaking to me, though, what I'm feeling is I'm feeling a big wave. So it's like almost a big surf wave that's going to overcome. It feels like it's overcoming my body. It's about to wash over my body where I can almost drown. And the vision that I'm getting in my head is, how do I breathe and get myself still within, knowing that that is going to happen, but also knowing that I will still be standing once the wave has washed over me. I can almost feel myself being enveloped by the wave, underwater, in deep silence, and emerging up and coming up for air. I feel like it's going to be very turbulent, very air-like, meaning it could be twists and turns at very hard whipping air and high speed winds at one point to quiet winds. And I can feel the flowiness of the water at an emotional level, although uncertain, strong, in knowing that this change, although it seems impossible, is not impossible. The card that's associated with the number that's associated with that card is 32, which reduces to 5, which reduces to major change and conflict, challenges to overcome. So as we go into summer, it looks like we need to start to quiet our minds, because we are going to start to grapple with the uncertainty that has now presented and how we're going to live and how we're going to navigate. What's the card for August, please? August, please. What's the card for August 2022? Oh, tender embrace. How sweet. Look at that. 2 elephants. 2 big, strong elephants giving lots of love to each other, because I think, as it said earlier in the reading for April, where it said great love, I think because of the fact that we're going to go through such changes, and it's actually going to force us to even do more self-evaluation within ourselves to understand how those changes are still helping us refine the relationship with ourselves, it is going to be very clear that the only way we are all going to make it through, as if COVID didn't make it very clear enough, is that we are all going to have to rely on each other and show great love and compassion to support each in making it through. Working together, more unity, less division is what is going to be called for in the energy for the month of August. And what's the card? The number on that card is 22, which is 4, which is building out of structures, infrastructures, and the community. So that's actually beautiful. I think we'll see lots of changes in area, like I said before, even food distribution and food agriculture. I think we'll see continued changes in finance. There'll be changes, I think, in housing and government. And I think what everyone's going to realize is stop pointing out the differences in everything and understanding why it's not going to work, and focus on what is going to work for the greater good. And so what's the card that we need? Spirit, please provide card for September 2022. September 2022. September 2022 is focusing on healing the heart. I believe that's the heart within all of us and the heart as a collective. So what can we do to be kinder, gentler, softer, more compassionate to our brothers? Maybe on a personal level, you're gonna volunteer more. You're going to get out into the community more. Maybe you're gonna form a community group. For those that might still need a little bit more work on our own spiritual journey, what are you going to do to light your cup up and fill that cup up every day? For, only when we take care of ourselves wholly and completely are we able to take care of others. So focusing on healing the heart. We're going to go through another shadow period as a collective that might cause us to question ourselves and beliefs and thought patterns that we've had in a different way and at a deeper level. And how are we going to emerge in that healing and self-acceptance and love, not only for ourselves, but for others. What is the next card for October 2022, please? The card for October. Oh, okay, here it comes. We have imperfect harmony. As we start to move into the fall season here in the United States, it's a time of where the leaves are changing. October is my favorite month because it's Halloween. And if I think of that, it's like, how do you get rid of all the scariness and fear around the holiday and see how it can be fun? But it's going to show more harmony at a collective level, more common union, more agreements, or ways of how to get there. I feel there might even be more new structures and formations of communities and groups and communications and understanding. How do we gain more harmony in the world now as we start to emerge in less disconnection? And during a time where sometimes we might not even be able to connect in person anymore. We're actually connecting at the heart level. Okay, so October, November, we have Time Machine, which again I think is kind of funny and perfect because, again, in the United States, we're in the fall season, and November falls around, it kicks off the beginning of the holiday end of the year season for us, in which Thanksgiving comes into place, where a lot of time and reflection starts to come into place. So what is happening in the world? What needs to happen in the world? What have you accomplished? What have not you accomplished? What majorly changed that now causes you to reflect on how well did you pivot during that change, and what you might still need to do to pivot in that change. The final card for December 2022, energy card, December 2022. Final card. Make it a good one, Spirit. Final card, December 2022. There we go. Ah, beautiful. feeling the world. Wow, if you think of that, feeling the world, think of, we're in the time right now where I'm recording this in December, where you often start to wind down at work or wind down at wherever you are, and people start to wind down for the holidays, and we start to plant in and rest and relax as we enter the new year. So a great exercise that we might explore next year, folks, if you're part of my community, is, if you recall, in January, it was Earth Magic, understanding the changes that we're now going to experience at an energy level, and we should always be feeling lighter. And then reflecting at the end of the year, based on all the changes that are coming, that we're still going to experience, that it's still calling for us to do the inner work to know ourselves, so we know the ability of being able to navigate such massive change, is to understand how that all built you into the new person you are at the emotional and energetic level. So it's less out of the head, more into the heart and soul. So less thinking, more heart and soul. And so if we don't have to think of things so logically anymore, you start to understand that all the structures that you had in place, all the boundaries, all the lines, all the rigidness starts to melt away, because when you start to get out of your head and into your heart, you can start to see the flexibilities and the opportunities that are potentially within your reach. And then you start to think and visualize things very differently, and you're very creative. And for a lot of us, that's a big change, because we're breaking down beliefs that we've had, for a very long time, and never even bothered to examine how good they were working or how good they weren't working. And we've started to open up and understanding and realizing, like, oh, there is more than one way to feel good. There is more than one way to change your state. There is more than one way to attack a problem. You just need to adjust the lens. So instead of thinking, as is often talked about, of thinking of, like, what do you want to do and what do you want to plan for? What if you just lightly think and feel into how you want to navigate, and use that as your planning tool instead, less of your brain and more of your heart and body to do that? And how does that change the way in which you navigate or extend energy from yourself to others, and conserve it and prioritize it for those things that really bring meaning to you personally and fill you up? So that's it, our 12-month overview for 2022, all 12 months. If you like this video, please click that button so you'll know each and every time that content is uploaded to this channel. If you like the content share here, please put it in the comments so I understand that this kind of magic resonates with you. And as always, if you want to learn more about me, please pop over to my website, JackieMFernandez.com. You can find me on Facebook at Jackie M. Fernandez, or on Instagram at Jackie M. Fernandez Coach. Until next time, be well.